Way too early in the morning for this stuff. Bright ideas I have. Good morning, folks. It's 5 a.m. Early May 2025. Yeah, you know how I've said earlier that you got to take the time that you get? I'm Slick, and here we are in the shed, continuing on part 3, day 1, morning 1 of our engine run test stand. Now, I want to fill you in quick before I get into just finalizing the fabricating today that you'll notice I took here, I'll show you, get you a little closer here. I took the manifolds off, took the spark plugs out because when I was trying to spin this engine over in anticipation of us finalizing the front of the stand, getting the cooling and the electrical ready and getting it running so that we can test it, I tried to spin it over and we came upon a ridge is what it felt like. So I pulled all the spark plugs to put Marvel Mystery Oil in them, and once I finally got to cylinder number 2, you can see how we have rust at the very tip of our spark plug, what would be internal to the engine. That was a clear indicator to me that, yeah, cylinder number 2 has probably got a little bit of a rust ridge there. And yeah, come to find out that after I let it sit with Marvel Mystery Oil in it for a couple hours or so, she spins over just fine. I tell you what, Marvel Mystery Oil. No idea what they put in there. Nobody does. But it works fantastic. All right, let's continue and finalize our front portion here so we can get a stand up for our gauges and our radiator. Do a quick measurement here for where we want to put our stops at. Oh, I gotta drill these too. Put them a 1/2 inch from the side, 1/2 inch from the side, and let's set them back 1/4 inch or so. It's fine. Mark that. All right, got a little ahead of myself with the welding. Let's go drill this out real quick. Okay. Got 3-inch pieces. 1 1/4 inch tube. Half of 1 1/4 is 5/8. 1 1/2 here. Right here. Punch it. All my jokes seem a lot funnier at 5 a.m. Okay. I was thinking we oversized these holes a little bit, make it easier for us. I was learning from last time. So I'll put what I'm gonna do is throw a 5/16 diameter bolt going through these as a stop. So it's a 5/16 nut, which is actually a 1/2 inch wrench. I will use like an 11/32, if I can find it, drill bit to drill these holes out. It's just a little bit larger because the radius of the nut is still going to cover the entirety of that hole, and then we're going to weld around it. So it just gives me a little bit more room with where my bolts going down into that hole. Gives us a little more room for variability. There we go. I lied. We're just going to drill it out to be a 3/8 hole because that was the first drill bit I could find. Right there. Not too shabby. All right, let's clean the hole up. Well, this one really only needs a little bit of filing on the inside. That's about it. Let's bring the welder over here quick. Okay, I think the plan is, now that I've done this a few times, is just use the bolt to center that nut and tack it on there. Then remove the bolt. Because I think the heat and expansion, contraction just goofs it. Oh. Try again. I ought not to have any problems with that. All right, one more time. One thing I'm gonna do quick while I can is throw a tap down here just to clean the threads up from that flux core. See? Nothing to it. Okay, let's get these attached to the stand. Ooh, all the birdies are chirping. I don't know if you can see it out there in the distance. Looks a little pink over that way. Pretty. Having the birds chirping in the background is kind of nice. Nice little ambiance. I don't need my name in the marquee lights. Let's go to Lukenbach, Texas. Okay, she's on there. Finish her up. Then we can put our longer pieces in. Those are already cut, so that's nice. Very nice. All right, let's throw those uprights in. Nice. Yeah. Look at that. Proud? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Okay. So, I need to make something to hold the gauges up. Let's remember that these are our gauges. How do we want to mount these? Also consider that I have like a little switch system that I think we should grab quick. It's even got a little template, a little face rather. Has it got hardware? Oh yeah, it's got the countersunk screws in it and all that even. Wow. How do I want to do this though? Might just want to weld it in. I gotta think about this. This isn't long enough. Is it? Oh my goodness. It's meant to be. It was meant to be. I'm gonna smooth up. It's not gonna be perfect, but nothing on this project is. I'm gonna smooth up these edges. I'm gonna have to figure out how I wanna set these gauges in there, but maybe that's the way to do it, is can set them in at the top. How big a drill bit do I have? This little gauge is 1 9/16. So I need a 1 9/16 hole. Hole saw? I think we can get her done with a hole saw. Okay, that was 1 9/16. This is my tachometer. I think it's like a 2. Yeah, 2-inch. Yeah, let's get a hole saw. We'll have to buy different sizes for what I need. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. We'll have it up like this, right? Have some switches. This will just be secured right through the top plate, right? Drill our holes here, secure it. Have all of our switches, and then we'll have, they're set down now, of course, but we can have our 3 gauges over here, tachometer here. I can decide later if I want to put something in the middle. These over here, and on the back is going to be the rest of our electrical. I'll just need to make up some supports for the back of this. Let me think a minute. Okay, last thing I'm trying to do here while I get the time is measure out some sliding support brackets I'm going to put on these uprights. Hold up our cooling system. And these need to be at least, I'm going to say at least 2 inches wide. Let's make them let's have them go out 3. So if we're here though. But I'm going to want to bend it. So what if I cut them at 4, bend it around 3? That'll give us enough wiggle room. Should anyway. Let's try that. And then we're going to cut to length. We'll do 3-inch sections of these tubes, and then we'll weld them together. Put them on here just like we've done with everything else so far. Trust me, if I had something that was a little bit thinner, I would use that, but this is what I found, so. I really either gotta cut my hair or start wearing a hat or something, man. You feel it burning on the top of your head. Something's going on. All right, clean these up. See if I can get these bent. See if I can bend it in the vise. I will try. Okay, let's see if this bends how we want it to. I mean, for the most part, yeah, that did what I wanted it to. Fine, sure. Do it again. Yeah, that'll hold what I need it to hold. Wow, those are good. Cool. These are gonna take the same type of nuts. Basically the same thing we did this morning. So where's my hammer? Ah, geez. Yeah, I'm gonna have to mark it the same way too, otherwise that'll just bother me. Cool. That's all I got time for. I gotta bust out of here. Next couple days I'll come back. We'll pick right back up where we left off, and I'm not gonna make any promises, but I'm feeling real good about the next time I come out here, everything being pretty much assembled. I know I said that last time, but that's fine. We'll get there. Howdy folks, Slick back in the shed. Part 3 of the engine run test stand. Day unknown, doesn't matter. Continue right where we left off again. Where we left off, I was trying to figure how to drill holes for our gauge cluster to be mounted in that flat steel plate that's going to go across here. And I found my solution. One second. If you'd have guessed that I went to the hobo and got tools, you'd have been right. Got an entire hole saw bit set. We will need, if I'm remembering correctly, for those smaller gauges, they're supposed to be 1.5 inch gauges, but they actually measured like 1 9/16. So we got a 1 3/4 here. The next lowest would be like I think it's 1.5. So I'll probably end up using like our 1.5 for those, and maybe I can just use a file and waller out the hole a little bit. And then for our tack gauge, I believe that's going to be a 2 inch, which we have. So yeah, have your little pilot bit, drill right through there. I think I can even throw this on the drill press too. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, we'll get that going. I want to drill the holes in there first, and then we can figure out situating it to be welded up here, and I need to figure out maybe some supports to go right under it to keep it a little stable. Maybe we'll be good enough just welding it up there. I'm not really sure yet. We'll figure it out as we go. And then the last thing I really got to be concerned about is getting those, getting the sliders that are going to go on these uprights to support the radiator. We got to finalize that, and then it's just wiring at that point, wiring up the gauges themselves, getting that whole setup completed. Something that will be finalized in the future would be kind of an accessories panel that would sit down below that could hold maybe gas can, battery, whatever. Little things that I'm going to do to the stand over time that I'm not going to show in the primary build here, but that will be done at some point in the future. Okay, let's see if we can get some holes drilled and get the sliders finished. All right, since we've yet to drill them from last time, let's get these sliders drilled out. All right. Woo. Let's try this out. Here's the problem is I need this up elevated then. I can drill through it. So let's get us on a piece of wood. I'm just gonna be throwing holes in this thing. Gonna need to come up. Hello. Anytime. Hold the phone here. There we go. Had to give the old foot treatment. I mean, let's try it. It's like the best option I got. Almost, baby. By golly, I think I'm through on one. Hey, it worked, man. All right, got to do that a couple more times. Now the fun part real quick before we're done. Check to see if it all fits like it's supposed to. Probably have to clean things up a little bit, but that's to be expected. All right, this is the part I'm really nervous for. Yeah, they gotta get oversized a little bit. File to fit, file to fit. See if I got a Dremel tool of sorts. Die grinder, I think. That's what I'm looking for. Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what we need. Do one of these. All right. But I don't have the time for it right this second. Gotta come back to it. Ran ourselves out of time again. So I'll see you for the next portion of this part. Hopefully by the time that you see me again, this is getting finalized. We're putting it on the stand and we will be pretty much ready. If not, doing it same day. Testing that 302. See you next time.
Good morning there, friends. Slick back here in the shed. Another 5 a.m. debacle for you. Adventure. Yeah. We're just going to continue right where we stopped last time. I have some newer air hose fittings to put on our die grinder. I got it from the tool from a swap, and it had 1/4 inch fittings on it, and Gramps runs 3/8 throughout the shed, so not a bad thing. It's more airflow, so whatever. Let me swap those out quick, and then we'll continue on to using that die grinder on our gauge plate. We'll keep moving.
The thing's a little noisy. Okay, where's my little plate that says for racing only? I need that guy. It's not on the bench. Walked past it I don't know how many times. That's fine. Okay, one of these holes, these all fit up perfectly, besides one, this one, yeah. Then I could re-drill a couple of these holes a little bit. Yep, we can make that work. The only thing I will do is just drill these holes out slightly larger. Past that, we're good to go. I'm just gonna clean the rest of it up. Busted it! I saw that coming. No mercy. Oh boy, but that little drill bit pretty much did its job to the very end. What kind of drill bit was this? Jeez. Holy cow. What are you made out of? Wow. All right, are we good here, or do we need to step it up more? Hold on there. Let me throw all these bad boys in here first. Ooh. That one makes me excited. Feels right. Yeah. This is one of my favorite parts so far. Sitting here thinking, why do I even need screws for these? These are all cinched down. It's not necessary because we've fixed them to the plate. So why don't we just run it like this? You know what? It doesn't look half bad, does it? I'm pretty proud. I really just put this together so we could bask in the glory, but you know, the separation between this gauge to this gauge, yeah, it could be a little better, I suppose. But for just eyeballing pretty much all of it, I'm satisfied. And guess what? Now we can put, if we want to put other stuff in here, we can do that. If I want to make a design or something in there at some point, I could do that. The possibilities are endless. I am going to have to take this stuff off before I can, weld it to the top of the stand. Forthcoming. Pretty much ran myself out of time today, just kind of futzing around getting this the way I want it to be. That's fine. I'd rather spend the time up front doing that. Cool. You've noticed over time that I've stopped promising, I think we'll see if we can get this done today or that done today. You never know. You just never know what's coming at you. So I'm getting smart. We get done what we get done when we can get it done. And we keep moving. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Good morning, folks. Slick back in the shed. Not sure what day of which part this is, but it doesn't really matter. I also don't quite remember where we left off, what you last saw with the engine run test stand build. But I will tell you that I have made quite a few updates between what you last saw versus where I'm at now, and I did that. I skipped a lot of the process so that you could see a bit more condensed version. This is already long enough as it is. You don't have to watch just even more hours. All right, I've already overpromised and underdelivered on how many parts I was gonna do. So regardless, get in here quick. I want to show you what I did. I'll show you a little demo and then tell you what we're gonna do just to follow. Okay, so where we're at now, this is all loosely wired, right? We got our plate fitted, attached. Don't worry about those welds on the front. That was just to hold it in place. I did more welds on the rear. It's on there. I'm not concerned about it, okay? It's gonna function. I need to go through, as with everything on this, clean it up at some point. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but it's functional and it is ready to test. That's what matters. Okay, so quick overview. So This is the radiator out of the 64.5 that's directly behind me. And this wasn't being used otherwise. We're gonna upgrade the radiator for the 64.5 anyway. Pretty sure this thing still holds coolant, so that's what I used. I threw this on there, made these little brackets. You get a better view of it from this angle because the radiator's not fully seated on it right at the moment, but it is on one side anyway. There's little brackets like another one of those. It's like a smaller version of the slider that we have on our longest sides, right? Little bolts in here to act as stops. So radiator will sit on top of that, adjustable where it would sit. I don't know exactly how I want to secure it on top, so for right now it's just zip tied. And that'll hold it in place for what we need to do. Also fixed our electric fan to the back, just makes it more convenient for me to be able to use it with a test stand. Now you'll notice we have, what's holding this plate on is just for your toggle switches. They are threaded through here, and you have like a little hex nut for each one of these. This is kind of threaded on there, as well as this master safety switch, same type of thing. So that's what's holding this plate on. These gauges, they're all like a plastic nut on the back. That's what's securing them in there. Now there's a lot going on here, okay? I'll tell you briefly for what we're gonna do, testing this engine plus breaking in Sally's remanufactured engine. I'm not going to connect our gauge for charging, but I will connect it in the future. These are lights for the gauges, oil pressure, temperature. I've got temperature mocked up. Oil pressure is just going to thread in to the side of the block. I got to take this out. Grounded here for everything. Got a relay running this section, and then there is a relay / fuse kit that came with the fan. That's bypassed right now because it was a little quicker for me to do that this way. This is how I have temporary power running to the stand. Again, we'll clean it up at some point, but this is just to kind of demonstrate, and yeah, I might do this for the first couple of tests until I get some time to kind of actually clean things up, paint the stand the way I want, yada yada. Anyway, we're grounded with everything up here, but I also, just for our battery, threw our clamp to that to the stand itself. Now, what I've been waiting for. You cannot imagine the sense of relief and overwhelming amount of excitement and joy when I flipped that switch on and I saw it light up like that. Oh my goodness, it's like I did something right. I love it. Don't have anything connected to accessory 1 yet. This button should work because I wired it up per the diagram. Obviously just haven't tested it yet. We have our gauge cluster over here hooked up to access 2, and then what would be accessory 3 is running our fan. So gauge cluster, backlit come on. You can see the tachometer's doing its thing. Must be missing a wire for the backlighting on that, but we'll figure it out. Either that or the light in there is just bunk, because I wired it up per the diagram, but whatever. And then of course our fan. Of course there's a whole little kit that come with the fan that, you know, you could hook it up to a circuit breaker, and I believe it's got its own wiring harness if you wanted to wire it up to a temperature sending switch so that the fan would turn on at a certain coolant temperature. By all means you could do that, but I'm just gonna, you know, manually throw that on as needed, and if we want to adjust course in the future we can do that. But this is where we're at. Really what needs to be done now is I need to clean up where our upper rad hose was, suck out all the dried old coolant from there, get 2 universal flexible rad hoses, upper and lower, to be used with the coolant system. Fill the coolant system up. Make sure there's oil in this. Either take this distributor apart, clean the points, make sure that's all timed correctly. I might just take it out and reset the initial timing just so I get some practice with that. Need to replace the cylinder 2 spark plug because that busted coming out. But the engine is free, and if I haven't already covered that, I'm sorry that you all didn't see it. I was rushing through. This engine was initially locked up a little bit, just at one point. I wouldn't say locked up, sorry, that's a little dramatic. It had a rough spot, okay? It had a rust ridge that we had to break through. Did the exact same process as the 79 Fox Body Revival, where we just soaked the cylinders in Marvel Mystery Oil for a couple hours, come back, put my ratchet on the end of it. Oh yeah, with the spark plugs in there, it takes a lot more force. I think that's sufficient. I'm a man of my word. All right, I ain't lying to you. Need to hook up our pulley and belt system. Oh, and our starter. Block off any other coolant passages, vacuum lines, hook up the carburetor. I'm gonna steal the one that we had, oh, and the coil. I'm gonna steal the one that we used off of the 79 Fox Body for that, of course. Rig up temporary fuel. By golly, I think we're good to go. That way we can test the test stand. So next time you see me, I should be gathering parts and assembling to make this run. And then shortly thereafter, we'll get this puppy fired up. First time it'll have run in my lifetime. I've never heard this engine run. It's just been sitting in the shed, in that car, until I pulled it out maybe 6 months ago. Because, you know, I got plans to refurbish that car too, or restore it, so very excited. We'll see you when we're back gathering parts. Well, howdy there, folks. Slick in the shed. Now I'm slick out of the shed. All right, forget it. I have things for us to add. Heater hose. These ones are comically long. I did not need to get these long of hoses, but it'd be fine. It'll work out just fine. Got this. Got a new starter. When it gets just a little bit brighter out, got the sunrise to our backs. Looks beautiful. When it gets just a little brighter out, we got to go down to Coke's house if we got enough time. Snag off the coil, some of the starter wires, and the starter solenoid off the 79 Fox Body. Bring that back up here, throw it onto this engine. And maybe not today, but maybe within the next couple of days when I'm able to come back here in the mornings. Need to find, I took the alternator off this vehicle, but that's something I did, you know, 6-8 months ago. So I'll have to find out where I put that. It should be on a shelf somewhere. Need the belt that goes with it too, because no belt, no operation here. First thing I want to start with is these two hoses, and we'll see how far we get. Oh, this is totally just gonna drain on the ground too. Oh, yuck. Come on, give her up. Oh. Well, there's that. Let's do a quick fitment. Boy, now I'm not feeling so stupid for grabbing the size of hoses I did. Okay, not too shabby. And to the upper. Yeah, this one's kind of comically long, but that's all right. I mean, it'd work. Okay. It's a nice swoop in it. Need some clamps on these. What am I even looking at here with this clamp? Thing's busted, I know that. Not the clamp, but that pipe. Hose. You know what I'm saying. Get off of there. There we go. Okay, got one. There was another on that pipe, yeah. Oh, there it is. The reason we hose clamp these is so that when the engine gets to operating temperature, starts creating pressure within the coolant system, one of these lines doesn't just blow off and then spray boiling coolant all over me and give me second and third degree burns. That's it. Well, this is as big as we go is 1.5, huh? Well, that won't do. Swore I had larger sizes. I know I do, they're just everywhere. I found one. Well, surely I could find one more around here. Right. Well, I lucked out. Found a couple more for us. Okay, I can put the lowers on, but the upper needs to wait a second because I need to vacuum out the top end. Okay, secure. Give this back to me for a minute, thanks. Come here, just get on there. Oh, nice, my arthritis is popping real time. Okay, cool. Let's vacuum out the thermostat housing. Crusty. Okay, hose clamps. Okay, are you, all right, sure. Come here, okay. Radiator acts as a screwdriver holder. Come here. There you are. Well, it's on there. Well, that it wasn't graceful, but that's not the point. It's on there. So next thing I'm thinking, we take out the oil pressure send-in unit. This is the OEM part that's coming straight out of the block, and we thread in our piece that came with our oil pressure gauge kit. Let's work on that next. I think it's this, but I'm not sure. Let me get down here. Yeah, confirm. Right size. Oh, that's terrible. The only thing that would make that reasonably easier would be taking off the fuel pump. We might have to end up doing that for the carburetor anyway. And I got a new fuel pump, so I guess let's just do it. Mm-hmm. 9/16, by the way. Yep. Great. Thank you so much. We got tons of room in here now. Yes. Had to be dead on. I never had a fighting chance otherwise. What's the best way to do this? Thread this on first. I think so. I think that's how it goes. Be doubly careful because there's a compression fitting in here. Ooh. Okay, good. Now thread this in. Take a 9/16 socket. Okay. And now thread this in. Whoa. 3/8. Yeah, that should be fine. Of course, as part of cleaning this up, I should, zip tie this over here or something else, but for another time. what are the chances this little rusty, crusty fitting on this fuel line actually comes off? Slim to none? Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Something's gonna have to happen there. Let's just take this off and out of the way for a minute. This is interesting, kind of neat. I'm not saying that it's okay, but somebody just took, this is for the, this is for a fuel line, mind you. They just took a smaller piece of fuel line, shoved it in the larger hose, clamped it down, called it good. All right, got that out of the way. Next, let's see if I can, I found the alternator that I shoved into the 64.5, just sitting in the driver's side. Actually, glad the sun decided to show up and give us a little bit more light. Alternator 5/8 here at the top. That's what they got in there. Yep. Okay. Now, I'm gonna tighten this down until I get a belt on there. Need my fan pulley for the front there. I believe I would need shorter bolts then, if I was just gonna throw this pulley on, but I'm just kind of curious if, just for future reference, would the fan, yeah, the fan will clear. I just want to see it on there. Get my other ratchet out of here. I feel like this engine's a little magician's hat and I just keep pulling more tools out of it. For my next trick. Okay. Should be a 43 and 3/16 inch belt. It looks right to me. Sure. Okay, we'll get that, put that on there. Basically all we have time for today is I gotta go to work. Plan is when we come back, we'll get the starter on there, get the belt on there, check it for oil, fill it with coolant, put a coil on there. I wanna just redo the timing because I want the practice. Put some plug wires on, replace one of the plugs, put the manifolds on, put a fuel pump in there, rig temporary fuel, put the carb on. I think that's it. I think. Okay. All right, I'll see you when I'm back in a couple days. Howdy, folks. Slick back in the shed. Beautiful day outside. Hear the birds chirping. It's a beautiful day to get this engine running. I believe I got all the supplies that I need. So we'll try to make her happen today. Okay, so this would be a 43 3/4, I think is what it says. 43 3/4 belt. So this should work splendidly. It's like about as tight as it really should be. Good. And so then we'll take our alternator out like this, draw in the slack so she's nice and tight. Tighten her down. Should be good. Work on thermostat. And this will actually help me to see if I get a thermostat to open and close. I can actually assess whether or not our cooling system's doing what it's supposed to. Well, golly gee. That other one, though, I don't know. Basically need the distributor out of the way. But I suppose I was going to take it out of the way, wasn't I? crusty. As expected. I did get a new gasket. I get more and more junk out of there every day. Oh, come on. Came with a gasket, yeah. Oh, they give you two. Is there a difference? Doesn't look like it. Well, I feel like I'm a lucky guy. Let's see if we can, what did I do with the old one? What are the chances that I get this line off? We'll try. I got a special wrench though that I can use to get this off or try. I'm doing it this way to be safe. Got something to help me kind of clamp this down. Just want to be gentle though, I don't want to damage this. In case I can salvage the pump. I don't know that there's necessarily anything wrong with it, but I'm just kind of assuming because of how old this is. There's a diaphragm in here that is manipulated by this little pump arm, and that will rot out over time, and then the pump won't function as intended. So I'm just guessing that it is not working like it should. Yeah, that didn't hold it down. Nice. Come here. Okay, the whole thing is turning, which is not necessarily how this is supposed to work. This little tube nut is supposed to spin independent of the tube, but they're together, not doing what they're supposed to do. But at least I have enough room here. I can just spin this off. Should be able to just throw it onto the new one. Not ideal though, is all. Okay, let's see if I can get this nut free. Not a chance. Not a chance. All right, so I did get that nut finally turning because I went and used the heat juice technique, which means you heat that thing up until it's cherry red, and then you juice it with some fluid like a WD-40 or a PB blaster, something like that, and you work it back and forth. And of course that did the trick, because I was tired of goofing it, you know. So I'm gonna reassemble this while I'm waiting for that to cool back down. And then we'll come back over and get it on. Let's worry about the carburetor, I guess, because that would be the next part of the process. Distributor we'll worry about here in a bit. Let me put it off to the side. Carb mounting studs. One of these I'm just gonna clean up real quick because it looks terrible. Okay, cleaned up the threads. See? Nice and clean. I don't know if you remember what they look like when we pulled them out, but not good. Also had to take, at least one of them, a couple of them, kind of run that through the grind wheel to make sure that was all nice and taken care of, because I don't know how well that would fit through the mountain hole of a carburetor, but probably not the best. Do I got a putty knife? Let's see if we can give this a little scrape. Okay, PCV valve. Just gunked. Yuck. Gotta be a gasket that goes on the bottom there. This ought to do fine. Now, oh, I like that. I've never seen on one of these little spacers. This one actually has has it stamped in. It says top. It doesn't say that on Sally's. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know where it's at right now, but I'll show it to you at some point. It does not say that. I wish I would have known that. Tighten that down. We got ye old ratchet around here. Here it is. This last one's always the worst. Okay. Mounted. Let's get the fuel pump done. You see how this spins? Yeah, we don't have any problems from this guy anymore. Clean up the threads too. Do one of these. Nice. It's working. All right, that's on there. Well and good enough. Anybody got some pliers? Side cutters. I'll peel it off the line if I have to. Really just wants to make me work for it. That's fine. Makes the victory even sweeter, bud. Boy, this guy's seen better days. That knife just keeps switching pockets on me. You ever squeeze something too hard and get nerve pain, shoot straight through your hand? Feels like lightning. Or what I would imagine lightning to feel. Yep, me neither. I need a coil. I could do fuel, fuel line to a jug. That'd be one of the last things I do. Plug these off. I think I just want to steal the coil and mount from 79 down at Coke's, and then there was something else I was gonna steal. Before we go down there, let's mount the starter up on this side. All right. See if we can mount this starter up. Dude, what? Well, I don't have anything nice to say, so starter mounted. Maybe the starter wire right there. Ground to negative on the battery terminal. So batteries, we're gonna have to throw it on this side, on the passenger side. I gotta run down to Coke's, grab spark plug wires, grab positive battery cable, I think that's all I need. So I will be back. All right, I'm back. I went down and grabbed all the stuff we would need. So let's keep moving. I'll continue bolting stuff on. Just do the coil, because why not? Singular spark plug. Yep, it's gapped. Let me pull out number 1. Let's do our distributor first. And this is the one with all the plug wires mostly attached that I just snagged. I'd like to take this valve cover off. Properly time this. There's nothing there on that one. Pretty sure somebody just put silicone here and here because they just didn't have 2 more valve cover bolts, and that's sad, I guess. Yuck. Well, there you go. That doesn't look as bad as when I pulled Sally's off. I'll tell you that. We're gonna work on getting this to top dead center of the compression stroke. 4-cylinder 1. That's what we're going to observe. And at that point, when we're at top dead center of the compression stroke for number 1 cylinder, we will insert our distributor and be able to time the engine accordingly. Now, the way that we're going to do that is we're going to observe the rocker arms for cylinder number 1. This is cylinder number 1 here. Intake, exhaust, right? We want both of the valves to be in the up position, so we're going to look at the rocker arms there. Right now, our intake rocker is down and it's on its way up. I am going to turn the crank pulley manually, and we'll watch that rocker come up. See it? There. Okay, that's about up. Now I need to look into the bore, see where our piston's at. I cannot see it yet. Oh, it's down there still a ways. So turn her a little bit more. Just getting there. Okay, piston's pretty close to being there. So what I'm gonna look for now is timing marks, which I need to clean up our harmonic balancer real quick so that I can actually see where we're at. Let's do that. I'm gonna work around you here best I can. Try not to nudge you and whatnot, but I don't know if you can see it. I can almost already see some of our marks here. Yep, I'm seeing ATC for after. I think that's what I see. BTC. And then there's a 30, a 20, a 10. This little white mark right here must have been there to indicate our TDC, so I can put another paint mark there. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put our 10 up here on our pointer, and we're gonna stab the distributor in at 10 degrees before top dead center, and then tune from there, because giving it a little bit of I think that this would be setting static timing, so setting a static advance with inserting your distributor at 10 degrees before top dead center is not a bad thing. They typically want a little bit more advanced, so let's do that. Let's get this turned around up here. I want this 10 right here match up with that pointer. Close, hold on there. Gotta look at it from the top side. Okay, cool. It's at 10 right now. So let's put the valve cover back on, and then we'll put the distributor in and keep moving. Before I do any of this, how about first let's check oil. Yeah, it's got enough for sure. Might even be a little overfull. What I want to do, though, to make sure that our oiling system's all right, I at least from one side, let's keep the valve cover off for a second. I'm going to use my my oil prime tool on a drill, because you stab that through the distributor hole. So before I put the distributor in, let's use that tool and prime this. Make sure I stay upright while I'm trying to do this, huh? I'm gonna throw this down the distributor hole, connect it to our oil pump shaft. Good, good. We should be able to run this drill and see the engine oil itself, unless something is not functioning like it should. You have to give it a second to pump. I should be seeing something coming out of these holes up to the very top of the engine. I'm an idiot. Okay, so I was spinning it clockwise the entire time and should have been spinning it counterclockwise, because that's the way the distributor spins. You know what? I just forgot, okay? Just watch the holes, because I can hear oil pushing air out to the holes. It's just going to be a matter of time. There. See it on number 2 cylinder, intake. Number 3 cylinder exhaust. Just those 2 cylinders for right now. Okay, so now we got intake and exhaust on cylinder 3. Now I got cylinder 4 exhaust. Oh, I was not even paying attention. Since I was looking at these, my oil pressure gauge is doing exactly what it's supposed to, but I'm leaking up at the fitting at the gauge itself, so I need to just compress that a little bit more. But hey, that means it's working, so cool. Let me look at this gauge while we're going here. Oh yeah, like 50 pounds of oil pressure. Cool. Quite concerned that I haven't seen squat out of cylinder 1 here. Oh good, we're okay. Well, hold on. Just using a torch tip cleaner here and throwing that through the end of this, into the rocker, to ensure there's nothing in that passageway that's going to be blocking up the oiling hole. Part of the problem here is that I am not getting into the rocker, the push rod. Could it also be because of the fact that we're at top dead center on compression stroke, that both of these valves are closed and I'm not getting anything out of them? That could very well be. What I do want to do now, because I'm paranoid, pull off the valve cover on the other side and check that one out quick too, while we're here. There, just wanted to show you. They did start oiling. All on the right bank, and whoop. on the left bank too, so good. You got engine oil all the way to the top of the engine. And we already knew we were getting good oil pressure, so I am not concerned about it. Let's throw the valve covers back on, stab the distributor in, mock up our fuel, put the exhaust manifolds on, fill this up with coolant, wire in the starter solenoid, and try it. Let's throw that distributor in there. I might have to figure out the wires here in a minute, but... Okay, so number one's this way. It's exactly the way that we have the distributor rotor pointed. This is the fun part right here. Did I really just get that first try? Wow. No way. I think I did too. Look at me. Heck yeah. Never goes that way. That's right where we need to be. Now I need to lock it down right there. Okay, that's locked in. Let's get the cap on here. Make sure our firing order's set up. One. And our firing order 1 5 4 2 6 3 7 8 1 1 Okay, what's going on here? 4 1 5 4 6 3 7 8 7 8 Vacuum advance. I think I'm just going to leave those disconnected right now. So then let me plug them. That's fine. Where bolt? Oh, there we go. Let's tighten the spark plugs, then put the exhaust manifolds on. Yeah. Ah, that is just the best height for my foot too. Oh, it's almost like I made it for me. All right, manifolds. All right. Oh man, take a look at my life. Woo! Tighten the other side. All right. Manifolds are on. Let's put this little goofy thing back on. Connect our starter. Well, how did it go then? Was it like a yay? Bugs. Start getting starter hooked up. We are exceedingly close. Next step, fill up the radiator, see if it's got any leaks. I'm just kind of hoping it doesn't at the moment. Rig up fuel, and then, folks, I think we're ready. Give it a shot. We'll see. Well, I gotta hook the battery up, but that's just, thought that was kind of assumed. I don't see anything leaking yet. Okay, yeah, I do. Hold on. It's the petcock, so that's fine. Okay. Maybe I want it to leak out a little bit. Just get some of the, you know? How about, let's try that. I need a bucket. I had enough trouble finding one. Well, here's something. How about this? We just sit there. Let's fill it up more. And then I'll open the petcock up in a second, flush whatever's out. Whatever's in there, out. Oh, it's really not bad. I'm just seeing straight up water now. Okay, fine. Almost up to full. I'd say we're at cold full. Nothing else leaking. Okay, let's rig up our temp fuel. All right, fuel's rigged up. Radiator's holding water. I think the last thing I need to do is hook this battery up. Make sure none of my switches are on. Turn them off. Okay, this is ground. This is battery positive. I think the time has come. Let's fill the bowls. Should work. Should. Well, I got an accelerator pump on one side working. Let's see if this works. Okay. Coil, ignition coil is accessory 1. This is electric fan, I believe. 2 is gauges. We have power. Let's do gauges. Gauges are on. Tach's doing its thing. Fan would come on. Okay, turn it on if we need it. Okay, this should be ignition coil. Okay, we should have power on. When I hit this start button, that should do it. I'm so nervous, but excited. I've never heard this engine run. I don't know if it will run. Everything I did should have been correct. I need to get a wire to be able to control the throttle linkage from up here. Here goes nothing. It's now or never. Well, my button lights up. That's about it. Okay, let's do some troubleshooting quick. All right, I think I figured it out. I had my, coming from my switch to the starter solenoid I just had, there's an S and an I post. I forget exactly what the I was for, but I don't know why I thought it was for ignition. But I had it connected to that, so it needed to be on S for start to shunt voltage to the starter to actually get the thing running. So, yeah, my bad. All right, try again. Still haven't learned my lesson from the '79 revival, I guess. Okay, coil like we said, I think is do gauges. Gauges on, coil on, engine start. Let's do it. Woo! Yeah, baby! Look at her go! 30 plus years it hasn't run, and she popped right off. Do I know what I'm doing? A little. My upper rad hose is dangerously close to that fan blade. I don't like it. That'll be an adjustment. It's enough though. I think we're okay. Coolant's running. I don't see anything leaking. Fuel's leaking. I got fuel leak. All right, I can fix the fuel leak though. So let's try the master power down. Straight away. Holy cow. Oh man. What a relief. What a relief. That's so exciting. I built that, man. I built the stand. It's not just a stand anymore. That's a run test stand now. That doesn't just hold the engine up. It can run on it too. That's amazing. Well, obviously we know the extra 10 degrees static timing is good for it too. It likes that. Amazing. Well, there you have it, folks. There's your part 3, as I promised. First engine running on the run test stand was the one from Mom's 64.5 Mustang that hadn't run in over 30 years, and it popped right off. I didn't even see the oil pressure, but I knew that we already had good oil pressure, so I wasn't concerned, you know what I mean? We're solid. We are solid. I didn't check my tach. I was too concerned about the fan blade being close to our upper rad hose here. But I think it'll be all right too. Let's just adjust the fuel line quick, fire it back up. Why not? Because we can. Holy cow. Oh, holy cow. What a rush. Forget what I said in the last part. It absolutely is worth it just to build yourself. What a sense of accomplishment. That's amazing. I might just need to tighten up our connection up there. What was I doing? Yeah. I'm just excited and distracted now. Okay, that's not pulling off. One more time. Now I can actually look at my gauges and stuff. Be a little less concerned. Good otherwise. Okay. Master power. Go gauges. Go gadget gauges. Tach's doing its thing. I don't know. The backlight's just it's not working. But that's fine. Coil. Contact. We got like 55 pounds of oil pressure. Oh yeah, the tach does work. Yeah! Okay, but not well. Not well at all. I gotta get a different tach. This one sucks. That's fine. Let's let it warm up a little bit. I got it on a run stand. Let her run. And then we can check, see if our temp's working. How about a little bit of this? Woo!
yeah, we're also leaking oil out of the valve covers because they're not secured down as well as they should be. So there's that too. I don't want to run it for too long because it's going to start, you know, leaking more oil on the, you know what I'm saying? But that's good. We're good with that. I'm all right. Cool. Well, folks, I'm almost completely out of footage on this camera, and it's like a 64 gigabyte memory card, so there's that. How about that, huh? Well, I hope you enjoyed the build and watching me, you know, make this as much as I did doing it and then finally getting it running. Come on, amazing. Hope you like it. If you did, share the channel, spread the word, help me grow it, make it bigger so I can do this more. I'd love to do something like this full time, not just working on these particular engines, not just Fords, but everything, okay? This is me making this stand is an investment in the future of the channel, of us doing this, for you being able to watch, etc. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you watching and spending some time with me in the shed. Take care.